There's a few exciting Nintendo Switch stories we got to talk about today, starting with a classic game series being brought over to the Switch for the first time, and as of today, it is confirmed that this game will be getting a physical release, which has me very hyped. Then we also have to cover the reason that a lot of fans are talking about a SNES fan classic RPG that may be in line for a sequel around the corner. Then the big talking point for today's video is a very interesting direction that Nintendo is choosing to go with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC and how you can actually check out the new tracks for free. What's up, Nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. Now, as I mentioned, guys, we got a few different stories to get through today, and we got to kick it off with Klonoa, the classic collection making its way to the Nintendo Switch for the first time. And I will tell you guys, when I initially saw this game unveiled at the Nintendo Direct, it was to my surprise that I missed these fan classics during their first run, as I believe they were originally out on the PlayStation, the PS1 that is, which makes sense for me personally because I did not own that console, but I had friends that did, and I would always play their PS1 games. But Klonoa was never one that I stumbled across, but apparently this game actually had a Wii iteration as well, and somehow I completely missed that. And it was also, you know, pretty popular amongst all the different platforms that were out there, but one that flew under my radar. And the gameplay for this thing just looks like a ton of fun, so I'm very interested in picking it up when it does release. Of course, up to this point in time, we haven't had any for sure confirmation around a physical release, and that has now changed today, as there has been an official tweet stating out, this is at least for the UK region, but I'm expecting the same tweet to go out worldwide. It just seems like it would make a lot of sense to at least put this thing on a physical cartridge. But this is definitely one of those games that I would personally want to own physically, so it is a relief to see that it will be coming to us in that form. And it does look like this will either be in US dollars, either like a $40 or $50 price point, so depending, I don't think it's going to be a full $60 release, but you're actually getting two full-length games. And of course, these are like more of a 2D slash 2.5D, you can call it, action platformer style. I definitely got some like Kirby 64 vibes watching the trailers. And if you know anything about me and you've been around on the channel for a while, you will know that the Donkey Kong Country series is probably still to this day my all-time favorite series of 2D platformers. And while not directly like the Donkey Kong Country series, it gave me a little bit of those vibes with different platforming sections as well. I am just a huge fan of 2D action platformers as a whole, so this one has me personally hyped, and I would love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. One, if you're planning on picking this up either physically or digitally when it does release, and also if you were somebody who played these games the first time around, what system did you play them on, and would you recommend them for somebody who's just generally a fan of 2D action platformers? So I do look forward to hearing from you guys on all things Klonoa and this physical release news in the comments down below. Now, the next story we're talking about today has to do with a fan classic RPG from the SNES era, and why a lot of fans are talking about a potential sequel for this game online. And this is none other than Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, as the director was just recently interviewed, and he's made it very clear that he would actually like to end his career and go out on a note with creating a sequel to this exact game, which I think fans would more than love and enjoy. And I think it very well can happen, with considering how well Square Enix and Nintendo are doing on releasing classic games together. And by the way, before we get a sequel to this game, can we please get it released as part of the SNES collection library of games on NSO? Like, that definitely needs to happen, and it's a shock to me that it hasn't happened yet. But I do think this is an interesting conversation to dive into, and I do want to kick it off by quickly hopping over to VGC, where we can see exactly what's been claimed by the director and his future goals to bring back a sequel to this Mario RPG classic. Super Mario RPG's director says he wants a sequel to be his final game. The director also has a plot in mind for the sequel. Chihito Fujikawa, director of Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, has said that he'd like his final game to be another Mario RPG if possible. Speaking to the YouTube channel MinMax and transcribed by Nintendo Life, Fujikawa discussed his career so far in the development of Super Mario RPG. When asked by host Ben Hansen if he was eager to get your hands on a Mario RPG again at some point in your career, Fujikawa replied, "Yeah, I would absolutely love to make one. Yeah, so in my career, I've been involved in a lot of games, and I would really like to make my final one to be another Mario RPG game if possible." He He later elaborated, however, he didn't reveal any plot details about his theorized sequel. He's quoted here saying, "I would like to go back to create a Mario RPG different from Mario and Luigi, where you're only controlling Mario." Super Mario RPG was developed by Square and published by Nintendo to the SNES in 1996. The game was a critical success, earning a 9.5 out of 10 from IGN at the time and a 32 out of 40 from Famitsu. So I personally think this makes a ton of sense to bring back in the modern era with some modern graphics and use that same core story element and gameplay elements that we knew and loved from Mario RPG on the SNES. And I think there's a big fan appetite for this thing right now, and it makes a ton of sense to start talking about it happening. Obviously, this is not set in stone, and this is merely the director of the original game stating his wishes to end his career with another Mario RPG game, but this is not anything from Nintendo directly saying it will happen. But this could open the door, at least for negotiations to take place for a potential project to come out, and I would happily pick it up day one. As you know, I enjoy the Mario RPG games and the more recent ones, but they're not all that they were, in my opinion. Like from the SNES, N64, and GameCube era, those are the Mario RPGs that just stick out to me like my favorite of all time, like far and above anything else I've played over the years since then. So I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below whether or not you think we have a shot at seeing a sequel to Mario RPG from the SNES era. You know, what direction would you like him to go? Would you like him to stay more true to the SNES formula, or would you like them to kind of expand that into an entirely new direction? So I look forward to hearing from you guys on all your thoughts and feelings on Mario RPG and a potential sequel in the comments down below. Now, the last story we're talking about today has to do with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and the DLC announcement that we, of course, recently saw unveiled to us at the most recent Nintendo Direct. And the booster course pack, to many people's surprise, is actually scheduled to bring updates to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe through the end of 2023, which is a pretty insane statement considering that this game was originally developed and released on the Wii U in 2014. So we're talking about really a 10-year lifespan of a Mario Kart game, which I don't think anybody would have seen coming, but here we are in 2022 talking about it. So while a bunch of fans, of course, wanted a new iteration of Mario Kart, myself included, as we've had a long-running joke on the channel to stop buying Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but now I would say go ahead and buy it because it's going to be the only thing that we will have for quite some time to come. And I'm personally hyped for this DLC announcement. I personally just wanted a reason to start playing Mario Kart again. I didn't have to have brand new mechanics and brand new graphics, although that would have been better in my opinion. This is still going to make this game really have an insane amount of tracks, as I think it's 48 in the base pack right now and then 48 being added in. Like, that's a pretty substantial amount of tracks just to be able to boot up and play through with friends. And I mean, it's enough to, I can't wait to get each pass actually unveiled so I have a reason to hop online, play with friends, play locally. Like, I, on all accounts and all fronts, think this is a good update, and I'm also very happy that it continues to add value to the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack, as this otherwise $25 DLC for those 48 tracks are included as part of the expansion pack. But the reason it is in the news today is we do have a big update around exactly how this DLC will work, whether you choose to purchase it or not, or whether or not you are an expansion pack subscriber or not, and to go over all the details and really share with you guys how there is a way you can play these tracks for free. I do want to hop over to Nintendo Everything, where they have the exact official quotes from Nintendo and break down what the meaning is behind how you can play some of the DLC tracks, if not all of them, for free after launch. So let's quickly read through that together. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass can be played locally or online without purchase. Nintendo has answered the question as to who exactly will be able to play the new tracks in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass when the DLC releases next month. According to the official site, courses can be accessed starting on March 18th locally or online in friends and rival races, even if only one player owns the Booster Course Pass or has access to it as part of the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack membership. Then starting March 22nd, these tracks will show up in the random selection when playing global or regional races with anyone online. Now, of course, the expected part of this announcement is like the local play portion. Like, I was expecting, if you're the player too on my local Nintendo Switch and I own the DLC through something like NSO plus expansion pack, or if I just spent the $25 to buy it, I would expect everybody on that local console to have access to that DLC. And of course, that is the case with that particular part. But the interesting part is the online play, because you technically don't have to spend any money to experience these tracks. And while you won't be able to go in and select them yourself, if if you don't own the DLC, from the sounds of things, there's still a solid chance that if you just hop online with just random people and start playing through various matches, that you can check out a large portion of the new DLC tracks, as I'm 99% sure that's what most people are going to be playing through online after they launch, since of course we've had all these existing tracks for all this time to play through and memorize, and the whole point of this DLC expansion is to experience something new in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So I personally think this is a really cool movement in the right direction, because it won't fragment the player base on who can play what tracks, and if somebody doesn't choose to upgrade to the DLC pack, we might see a strong drop off in total players online, or at least a sectioned off portion of players who just won't be able to get into your matches anymore if you select tracks from the new DLC expansion pack. So I'm hoping that this pass goes smoothly. I definitely am pumped for 8 new tracks at a time, broken up over 6 different waves. And again, as I mentioned, I just think this does a great job at adding value for a lot of players that didn't see the value in the $50 annual price point, now making it more justifiable than it was before. Not saying the service is perfect at this point in time, but I definitely like to see these incremental steps in the right direction, and my personal hype levels for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC are at an all-time high. So I want to hear from you guys at this point in the video on all the different stories we talked about today, how you feel about everything. Are you planning on picking up Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC via NSO expansion pack, or are you going to purchase it at a $24 price, or are you just going to skip up on it altogether? So I want to hear from you guys on everything we talked about, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around these topics. Make sure you check out yesterday's video if you haven't already, where we talk about the possibility of Nintendo buying out Platinum Games, as it's pretty clear that they are shopping for a acquisition right now. And please make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your bell notification icon before you leave, and I will see you guys on the next video.